What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Pit Podcast. And as you can see behind me, NXT Heatwave. And this was a good one. This was good. This was actually like it's been going around. This was probably a little bit better than Money in the Bank, but that's per the norm sometimes with NXT pay per views. Sometimes they're a little bit better than the main roster pay per views. Um, I know we said we were supposed to be back. We were supposed to be doing a live stream for Money in the Bank. Things happen. Hey, life is life. If anything I say today in this video, life is life, and sometimes you gotta handle life and handle situations before business and / pleasure. Because for us, this is a pleasure and a business, and sometimes life happens, but make sure you always take care of business. Anyway, with that being said, we'll be back soon, better than ever, and we got new members. But there was a match on the kickoff, so we're gonna start with that. JC Jane and Carmen. Actually, I went over JC Jane and Jasmine versus Carmen and Ariana. I think Ariana's the little beauty queen character. This was a pretty good kickoff match. Got the crowd ready and going. It wasn't bad by far. You know, the thing I like about it was even the kickoff match, every match, including the kickoff match, had a pretty decent time. Like, so that was like a refreshing thing to see that the kickoff match and everything else had decent time. Like, because the kickoff match, when it started, I think it was like 15, 20 minutes before the actual show started. So it got a decent amount of time. And it was a good match, per se. I enjoyed it. I the one thing I will say, I do, even though I don't watch or review NXT a lot, I do keep up with it, and I do know Cody Rhodes gave his undashing face guard to her, and it was cool to see her rock that to the ring. So, a good match, but in the end, Carmen and Ariana, who were the Canadian hometown heroes, would get the victory here. But I get the sense that it was like a backstage segment later that Ariana is like a heel almost character, because they was like, I guess they're gonna have a match this to what, well, you're gonna see this today, so tomorrow on NXT to see who are the better of the two Canadians, I guess. But with that being said, now we move on to the main roster. The main show. First match of the night was Wesley versus Oba Fay, and man, this was a great match. I can't even say good. This was great because I'm starting to like Oba Fay as this Nigerian. Is he Nigerian? He sounds like he's Nigerian. He's basically the better version of what's that? I can't remember his name. MVP's giant guy. Jeez, I cannot remember his name. The dude who don't get screen time. I am so sorry. I cannot remember the guy's name, and it's embarrassing. Well, you get it. I can't find it now, but you know who I'm talking about. The big giant guy who really can't wrestle. I'm so sorry about that. I can't. His name escapes me, and it's probably gonna pop into my head later on. But I swear, he's like Oba Fay is like the better version of him. And he's more like, he got a better moveset and stuff. But Wesley held his own. And this was a pretty good match. Oh, this was also for the North American Championship. I'm sorry, forgot to say that. This is for the North American Championship, or the Men's North American Championship. This was a pretty great match. I enjoyed it. I really did. Like I said, every match on this card, even the kickoff match, got at least either 15 at the least or 20 minutes or more max. This was good. This was good and great, and I enjoyed it. I was rooting for Wesley, but Obafemi will get the victory, and I guess Tuesday we'll see where he goes from here. You know what? I would like to see Wesley moving to the main title picture, if you ask me, because it's about time for Wesley and some more people to come up to the main roster. So it's about time for him to move into the main picture. Uh, I like to say this: there's only one title change. There's only one title change in this whole pay per view, and this wasn't it. So keep that in mind. On which match there was a title change, you'd be shocked to know which one it was. Um, so then we move on to the second match, which is Sol Ruka versus Kalani James for the women's North American Championship. And this was also a great one just because of the fact I did not know. I knew about Kalani. I knew Kalani was like a gymnast and stuff like that. So she comes from an athletic background. I didn't know that it was the same thing for Sol Ruka. And I didn't know Sol Ruka was also had a background in gymnastics and stuff like that. And the reason why I mentioned that because they put on a spectacular, great match. And it was like it would because they both could work off each other being gymnastics. They used that as a way to have unique reversals and maneuvers and stuff like that. And it was like very fast paced at a certain point. I will say they did. It's like they went so fast paced and so hard at the beginning that there was a point where they was like tired. You could tell they was dead tired, and some of the moves kind of fell flat or botched. But overall, they kind of got that second win and picked up the pace again. But it wasn't like a long time. It was like when that moment happened, it was like maybe like a 5 or 10 minute moment where they just had to catch their breath. But once like I said, they got their second win, they was back at it again with high flying moves, unique offensive moves, and reversals and stuff like that. But in the end, Kalani James will hit a poison Rana from the top rope, and then she would hit her finisher to beat Sol Ruka. I could see Sol Ruka becoming the next NXT North American Women's Champion, or even a future NXT champion down the line. I think she's going to become both. Honestly, she's going to become both. But that was a good person match, and I'm really, really more impressed now with Kalani James and Sol Ruka as a whole. Like they stock with me has risen. Then we get to the third match, which was I guess like in story. Axiom didn't know Nathan Fallon was going to get there in time because he thought he was going to have to defend the tag team titles by himself. So that was a story going into this third match, which is Duke and Andre versus Axiom and Nathan Fallon for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And this was the match I probably say I will say was a good one. I won't say it was great, but it wasn't bad. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. Great. I will say, in terms of tag team action, it was great tag team action. But overall match, it was a good match. I enjoyed both tag teams. They did their parts. I'm really looking forward to Axiom. Not something you know what that's the thing too. Out of all these guys, I'm looking forward to Axiom making his debut because he's a unique character I want to see on the main roster. Um, I have to see more. Jesus, I got sent so many text messages just then, and then I dropped my phone. But Axiom, yeah, I want to see him on the main roster. Nathan, Duke, and Andre, I have to see more of, but Axiom, I feel like he would be a unique character on the main roster, and maybe he could be the spark for the NWO. Where's my phone? Okay. What was that all about? Yeah. Anywho, Nate, but the match itself was good. It was, and the match itself was good. It was a pretty good, impressive tag team match. Like I said, nothing too special. Um, but Axiom and Nathan Fallon would pull out the victory here. So, therefore, they still the tag team champions. Like I said, keep in mind. So, therefore, we're now 3 matches into the main card, and we still haven't gotten to the match I said where it was only one title change. Um, but yeah, so we move on to like I said, Axiom and Nathan won the match. We move on to the 4th match, which is Lola Vice versus Roxanne Perez, and this was a good match. This was for the Women's NXT Championship, and or I should say the Women NXT main championship, and this was good. It could have been better. This was the match I was saying to myself, this could have been a lot better. I wouldn't have booked that ending the way how the match ended. I wouldn't have booked it per se. Like I kind of would have booked it differently. But then again, what do I know? I'm not the booker. That's why Triple H and Shawn Michaels get paid the big bucks because I actually it's funny. I seen it like a post that said, "Why do we think we could book better than Triple H and Shawn Michaels?" And somebody responded by saying it's because we know what we want to see, so we will book the stories and stuff better because we will know what we actually want to see happen from a day-to-day and to pay-per-view basis. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta kind of agree with that one. I gotta kind of agree with that. That's kind of like reason why we think we could book it better, but that doesn't mean we really can, because it's more to it than just booking stories. A business aspect to it. So, with that being said, back to the match itself. Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice did their thing. I wasn't too impressed with Lola. Like they need to elevate her more and maybe change up her moveset a little bit. But she got the star power. I mean, she definitely got the star power. It's just her. I'm not too impressed with her moveset. But Roxanne Perez, I'm always impressed with. To me, she's main roster ready. But I understand why they kept her on NXT because they want to cook her heel character more. But otherwise, she's a main roster ready, so there's nothing more that she could do to impress me. But Lola Vice got a little bit of ways to come, but she did make a mark here anyway. Like she shows she belongs in the main title picture. But I just wouldn't have booked that ending for her. Like I rather for her to get beat strong than to have a reason why she got beat. And I guess it was to protect Roxanne and Lola. I don't know. But the reason why I say that is because the ending that they chose, or what led to the ending, was Lola tried to hit her finisher, and that's the one of the things I don't think that's a finisher. To me, that's not a finisher because that's just a regular spinning backhand. And she tried to do her spinning backhand finisher on I get it. It's supposed to be a finisher because she was a former MMA fighter, but it's still like in the world of wrestling, like in the things we see, that just felt not like a finisher. But she tried to hit it on Roxanne. She would hit the ring post and injure her hand, and then 5 pop rocks later, I don't think it literally happened after that. I think we did get like the first one on top of which was one of the best spots, which was the pop rocks on the announcer table. I would rather for the announcer table to have broken, but we will get that in a minute in the next match. But then we will get 4 more pop rocks in the ring, one of which at one of which was kind of botched, and then that was the fourth one right before the fifth one. But that would give Roxanne Perez the victory. Um, yeah, Roxanne Perez is still your main champion. Yeah, yeah. So as you can see, I went through from the first match to the fourth match. We get to the main event, and we still haven't had a championship switch. But I said there was one. Yeah, and I was shocked. The main event, the Fatal 4-Way of Trick Williams versus Ethan Page versus Javon Evans and versus Shawn Spears for the NXT Championship, and this was the title change match. I'm like, no, not Trick. He sacrificed Trick. No, but yeah, this the match in question. The very last match of the night is the match with a title change. And you won't believe who won and how they won. But the match itself was good. This was a perfect good pay-per-view. Well, I won't say perfect, but perfect pay-per-view. I meant to say perfect main event. But I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it was a great main event because this is what a main event should feel like. It should feel like the stakes inside. It should make your hands sweaty. You should be on the edge of your seat because you're rooting for Trick Williams, and you know he can lose the championship. You don't want him to lose the championship, and like it's a fatal for anybody can lose. He was on defense the whole time, trying to stop people from pinning each other. Well, not the whole time, but I would say from the majority of the middle to the end of the match, he was on defense. But at the beginning, it was a lot of offense. Shawn Spears looked great. Ethan Page looked great. Trick Williams looked great. Even Javon Evans Javon Evans, out of all of them, he was like the standout in my opinion of this match. He really made he might not have won. It wasn't Javon, but kudos to him. He's going to be a future NXT champion because he really elevated his stock in this match. Shawn Michaels really put him over for this match. I didn't realize because I have been watching NXT. So the story going into this was that the reason why it's a fatal 4-way. One of the reasons why it was because Ethan Page brought to the attention. I remember this happening that when they had that battle royal to determine the number one contender. I did watch that, and that was the episode where Javon Evans became number one contender. But I remember that Ethan Page never got eliminated. So this was the first time they actually addressed. This is the first time I ever seen in wrestling where they addressed the fact that a Royal Rumble participant who only went through who just got beaten away from the ring but didn't get eliminated. They actually addressed it, and I guess eventually Jovan had to face Ethan Page, and he got beat, so it became a triple threat. I don't know how Shawn Spears got involved, but maybe because his rivalry with Javon Evans, somehow he got involved in this match and became a fatal 4-way. But either way, it was all good for it. It was, like I said, it was a good match. They had a nice move where Jovan got put through the table by Trick Williams. Now it was like, he kind of like felt bad about doing it. I'm trying to remember. Was there anything else? I mean, there was a nice Tower of Doom spot from the top ropes. All the men put themselves through hell for this match. But the ending, let me tell you how the ending went. So, Jovan and Shawn Spears on the outside, Trick and Ethan's on the inside. Trick is dealing with Ethan for a minute and got him took care of. He went to go hit Shawn with the Trick knee, and he hit Jovan into Shawn, which basically took Jovan out of the match and temporarily took out Shawn. Then How'd that go? Somebody knocked Sean off the ring apron, and he got taken out. Jovan got hit with the trick knee, and he fell. He fell. Jovan wasn't on the outside; he was on the inside. I think he was getting into the ring, and when he got hit with the trick knee, the trick knee made him knock Sean off the apron. He fell in the ring, and then he would hit the trick knee on Ethan Page, and Ethan Page will fall in a pinning attempt. Well, he will fall like his back onto Jovan, Trick stacked him by accident, and since his shoulders was basically being pinned, the referee had to count it. Trick was going to break it up, but stupid Sean, would grab Trick and basically like pull him out the ring, not realizing Trick was trying to stop the pin attempt. 1, 2, 3. Ethan Page is your new NXT champion, and he was unconscious to do so. He was basically unconscious and won the championship because when Trick hit the trick knee, he fell into the opportunity of the pin and pinned Jovan 1, 2, 3. Trick was beside himself. There's got to be an immediate rematch because I'm like, come on, man. Like you can't kick off Ethan Page. Like I knew Ethan Page eventually was going to beat Trick and become champion, but I didn't think it was going to be that way. But then again, it does protect Trick Williams, and I understand why Sean booked it that way, because if you pin Trick, it doesn't protect Trick that much. But if you pin Jovan or anybody else, it does protect Trick. And this way, it protects Trick even more because Trick didn't necessarily get pinned. He just got, even Ethan didn't really win the match. He just got lucky and won the match. But I will say this was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a... It was definitely better than NXT. Money in the Bank. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I think I gave Money in the Bank 8, so I got to give it a 9 out of 10 because it was definitely better than Money in the Bank. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you guys enjoy this review, you know what to do. You hit this button right there for all of our WWE reviews, and don't also check out our AEW reviews and other videos we got on the channel. As always, if you would like the video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, because if you help us get to 500 subscribers, my main man Sean got a reward and a surprise for the lucky one when we get there. I don't know how we're gonna do it yet, but I know he got something ready for somebody when we get to 500 subscribers. Also, as always, hit any one of these videos for more of our amazing content. But yeah, we will be back better than ever with some new members. Can't wait to show you. Shouts out to the guys, to Hector. Shouts out to Hector, Chris, Jeff. We got another Jeff, Nico. Shouts out to the whole group. We got a whole bunch of people kicking it with Leo. Shouts out to him too. We got everybody, and we're gonna have a bigger, better Rest the Pit podcast, and it's only going to grow and get better from here. So until the next one, peace out, y'all.